Okay, solutionaries, I want to talk to you real quick about these confirmation hearings. It's a shit show. I'm sorry, guys. Listen, I know some of my followers are Trump supporters and conservatives and libertarians and Kash Patel and Tulsi and RFK Jr. are people that we feel could move the needle in the direction that we want to go. I understand that. So I'm not necessarily going to attack them specifically, but I am going to address some of their inconsistencies. I want America to win. I want to be very clear about that. I want America to win. The direction that the previous administration was going was absolutely horrifying. Y'all know that. It was horrific, it was horrendous, it was any horror, whatever prefix you want to use that deals in horror. That's what that administration was, all up and down. But we didn't get here just with the previous administration. We got here by executive orders. We got here by a no fucking balanced budget. We got here by Congress not doing a job. We got here by kicking the can down the road. We got here by no streamlining the process of immigration. We got here by a violation of civil and human rights as codified, civil liberties and human rights as codified in the Bill of Rights. We got here from a disrespect for the Constitution, so forth and so on. Now, all of the people that I just named are all people that, if you have a modicum of sense, you are a person that would say, I would like those people in their specific reasons. Now, I have been very critical of all of these people. RFK Jr. is a climate change nut and has been for some time. RFK Jr. is anti-gun. He spoke about the NRA having blood-soaked hands and all of that. Par for the course for Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard has expressed anti-gun sentiments. Tulsi Gabbard has backtracked on the Pfizer conversation, same as Kash Patel. I was 1,000% on board with Kash Patel. And the problem with what I'm saying about these people is not that I'm trying to let good be the enemy of perfect, okay? Or perfect be the enemy of good, whatever how the phrase goes, right? That's not what my argument here is. My argument is the general public does not have enough information, and because we've slid so far from constitutional values that when you hold these people up to a standard and critique during these nomination processes or Senate hearings, confirmation hearings, whatever, the general public is so far away from constitutional values that they don't understand why you're being critical of them. All three of them have backtracked on their main position over these confirmation hearings. They have. The backtrack for Bobby has been in around the conversation around vaccines. He was the preeminent person that was roasting Fauci as 2020, going through like, these vaccines are bad, these vaccines are bad. And if you listen to him in these Senate confirmation hearings, it looks like he's advocating for vaccines. And you can look at the videos yourself. It's him saying, oh, I would recommend the CDC to follow the recommended vaccine protocols. And I'm paraphrasing on that. So go look it up for yourself, because I don't want you to just blindly believe me. Don't. Critique and check up on what I'm saying. The exact thing that you're known for, and the reason why we wanted you in a position over there under the Trump administration, heading an agency, which has its own dangers too, because the agency that he's nominated to head also is an agency that in the past has attempted to look at so-called gun violence as a mental health issue and a national crisis to circumnavigate around the system of checks and balances and completely disrespect the Second Amendment. So an anti-gun person, normally I wouldn't care if they're in that position. If he ain't gonna touch Second Amendment rights, vaccine-wise and children's health defense and all of that, he should be the guy for that position. And I generally agree with that. But when that person shows up and says the exact opposite of vaccines, it's a problem. You got the same situation with Tulsi Gabbard. Obviously, she's served, and mind you, all of these people are, reformed Democrats, or maybe, who knows. But anyway, all of these people sit down. She sits down next. She's made compelling arguments in these trials, but there was some flip-flop. The flip-flop for her was around FISA, the 702, and surveilling. And should law enforcement or the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, should they require a warrant to listen in on conversations of Americans that may be suspected to have conversations with terrorists or be threats or all that other shit? But there's some flip-flop. And the flip-flop is based on the problem with America. Let's go to Kash, because he falls in that same category. That Sean Ryan show and his position and him being decorated and served and FBI. I am not a fan of the FBI at all. I think all of these alphabet agencies are kind of unconstitutional, and there's nothing that local, state law enforcement, as far as crime, can't solve. Saying that to say, I would rather have somebody in it that's at least going to have some sort of respect for the Constitution and critical of the way that the old guard has been handling. So I was all in on Kash. But again, it comes to the FISA 702 question, and instead of these people being very, very direct, if you think that an American is on the phone with a potential terrorist or whatever that is, you present your information, you get a warrant from a judge because the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment in this regard is the supreme law of the land. That's the answer. That's the actual answer. There's no tap dancing needed. Which leads us to the problem. We, and I say we as libertarians or people on the right or whatever, we clamor so much to own the left or get one of ours in that when we get a little bit of attention from somebody that seems like they're kind of be on our side, especially after they've defected from the left, from the Democrat side of things, right? Even Trump. We get into this space that we clamor for the attention or pat on the head from the other side or to own the other side, which is a form of attention seeking, that we don't maintain the standard of constitutional vigor. The answers to these questions are clear. You are talking to senators in these confirmation hearings that if they're on the other side of the aisle, they're not gonna fucking vote for you anyway. So we see people justifying, oh, we gotta lie to get in. That's in essence what you're saying. You gotta lie to get in. You gotta just say whatever to get the confirmations. If you don't got the votes, you don't got the votes. And if the person has already been prepaid by AIPAC or the pharmaceutical industry or the military industrial complex, either you got the votes or you don't. And no level of justifying lying and eroding the constitutional standard to get in the job is okay because you ain't got the votes. Now, if you got the votes, you got the votes. But this is the problem in America. Instead of the standard being rigorous and defined, even in the face of adversity, political opposition, instead of us just going, the supreme law of the land is the Fourth Amendment, and no, American citizens that are suspected or accused of engaging with threats and terrorists, no, we are not going to suspend that American's Fourth Amendment rights in order to listen in on the conversation. And I know some people are going to say, well, FISA 702 section is designed. It's designed to only target non-Americans and so forth and so on. Yeah, but unfortunately for that argument, damn near 300,000 times that we know of, Americans were listened to on that scenario. Kash talked about it briefly in the confirmation hearings. So if you know that, and if the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, all of these Americans making justifications for the person to lie, play the game, play politics to get in, then we contradictorily say we need more principled, constitutionally respective politicians and public servants in the seat. So you want them to lie to get in the spot to people that probably aren't going to vote for them in the first place. And then magically you want them to be principled and constitutional when you get in. You are getting the government that you deserve because of what your requirements and standards are. The protocol, the bar has been lowered so much that we can't even just say what it is. We are a nation of people that are so uninformed about civics that we would rather have someone lie to, oh, I want to get along because Trump's the guy and I got to go along with the program. Trump is not the fucking standard. the Constitution and limited government is. So this dog and pony show that I'm watching with in these so-called confirmation hearings just reaffirms this thing for me. When did we go from no jabs unless you want to, that should be chosen, to our person that should head the health, the Make America Healthy Again movement should say, yeah, I would follow the CDC scheduling of all of these vaccines after we have all of this fucking sudden death. And now go backtracking, I don't think vaccines have anything to do with autism. So we there again with the person that's supposed to be the champion for, hey, a healthier America. If you choose the vaccine, cool. But it's clear that we got too many motherfucking vaccines and requirements for children to have that. But you flip-flop, and we champion it. He got to play the game to get in. We got somebody that sat on this Sean Ryan show and said everything right. And then get in there and kind of hem and haw. Same thing with Tulsi Gabbard. So the unfortunate part for that scenario is we now have to question, is the person just lying and playing the game to get in, or have they already been compromised before they got in? I want you guys to remember, not too far back, a veteran that went to DC and had an eye patch, and the story was amazing. Dan Crenshaw. What has he turned out to be? He flip-flopped. If you cannot be principled to get the job, no amount of political theater and lying to justify getting the job against a bunch of people that have already made up their minds to go for or against you, none of that is worthy of the compromise of the human rights as codified in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. There's no level of compromise that justifies that. And we as Americans have to be honest about that. These Senate committee hearings have devolved into some fucking Jerry Springer, loving hip hop, tawdry, yelling, fundraising for my base from the actual senators, just to justify, this is my position, I fought for you. But in the middle of all of that, right or left, nobody on the left is being objective, and nobody on the right is asking the tough questions. And in the middle of all of that foolishness, the Constitution is a complete fucking afterthought. So no, I will not be tapping into more of these hearings and moving forward. I will continue to educate people about their human right to personal protection as codified in the Second Amendment. We will continue to push our civics class because that's how we got here. We are in this Guantanamo Bay Patriot Act, FISA 702 surveillance energy because people are not informed, and then the public servants are pulled from the pool of American people that don't know shit about not only civics but the Constitution in general. So I will focus on the people that want to learn, that want to maybe go in the direction of public service, and inform and empower those people with your support. These classes, online classes, are inexpensive. You can be a Solutionary member, Solutionary non-member, and get access to all of the classes. Understanding imminent threat, civics, firearms basics, curriculums for all of them, a link to sell the merchandise so we can get some finances going in the right direction. That's economics, sales, free market enterprise, workout plans, shooting drills, Solutionary 9 group with thousands of Solutionaries across the country to help each other locally and nationally. Our information, the application of it, and the quality of that information, and empowering people that way is how we get out of this mess. Not watching the dog and pony show. But I don't know. Maybe y'all gonna think I'm tripping. Maj, you just don't like the state so much that you're not gonna be objective. Whatever you think, comment below, share your perspective. But it's more important that you get informed and get empowered. Go over to solutionaryuniversity.org. Check out the classes and courses and membership. My name is Maj Toure, the founder of Solutionary University. Hope to see you in a class soon. Be safe, be solutionary.